What up, YouTube? It's your boy Marvel from Matter back with another video. And today, man, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna be reacting to Mr. Lucario's video entitled "Ain't No Such Thing as Handsome Men Game," or "Ain't No Such Thing as Handsome Man Game. Why this cope is ruining your dating life," right? So obviously, I talk a lot about Handsome Men's Game. There's a few other channels that talk about Handsome Men's Game, but Mr. Lucario seems to think that this is not a thing, that there's no difference between average men's game and handsome men's game. And I only saw this video because a subscriber asked me to react to it. And as I was watching it, I saw that he used my video as an example. He tried to use my points to kind of denounce handsome men's game or try to make it seem like there's no difference. And so it only makes sense that I replied to it. It was a nice surprise to see that my channel's starting to reach out to more people, and people on his level, because he's been doing this for a long time. So people on his level, seeing my channel and it standing out to them, it means I'm making some progress. So it like I said, it only makes sense to respond to it. So in the video, he makes some points that I strongly disagree with, obviously, because I talk a lot about handsome men's game. I know there's a difference between that and average man's game. So we'll listen to what he says, and then we'll kind of just break down the logic or lack of logic that he's using.
Today's topic, we're talking about how there ain't no such thing as handsome man game. There ain't no it's not a thing, guys. And I've talked about this topic before, but I keep seeing more videos pop up with this handsome man game shit. And I'm trying to tell you guys that there's no such thing. So what happens is you have a lot of guys out there who, feel that they're handsome guys. And what they're doing is they're trying to separate themselves or come up with some sort of philosophy to understand why, you understand what I'm saying, they're having issues they're having or situations they're having now. I've done videos in the past where I talked about, when you're a good looking guy, right? There are certain experiences that you're going to have based on women perceiving you to be good looking. But that is not something where you talk about it's handsome man game. It's just game. Game is game. You understand what I mean? Game is you understanding yourself, and having game is you having a strategy to get what you want out of this life. So what you got to understand is that when it comes to the game, it is a very, individualistic thing. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not this thing where you say, well, I'm handsome, so I'm going to go through these things. And this guy is not handsome, so he has to play a whole different game. No, it's not. That's not what it's about. What you guys have to understand is that when you get so confused with this is because you think, right, that when it comes to the game, that if you look a certain way, that gives you some sort of like special privilege, or it could like hinder you in this other way. It's not really that. What it is that based on how women perceive you, right? And you understand that perception, then you understand why things are happening the way they're happening. And then you understand what strategy to take to get what you want in the situation.
So it seems like he kind of contradicted himself, because he said, it's not like one guy has one experience, another guy has another experience, so they have two different types of game. And then he said, having game helps you understand, how the woman perceives you. And then once you see how the woman perceives you, then you know how to move based on how she perceives you. Now, the reason it's called handsome man's game is because if a woman perceives you as handsome, you're gonna get a certain reaction, right? Which is true. Because before he tried to make it seem like there's no difference in the experiences, he said he did a video where he talks about how when you're a good looking guy, you're gonna have certain experiences. So that means they're different experiences than the average guy would have. So if your experiences are different, you have to respond to them differently, which means your game has to be different. So I thought that was a bit of a contradiction.
You see what I'm saying? So for example, let's say, for example, a girl is intimidated by you, which is why she's acting shy around you, but she still has some interest in you, right? What's going to happen is that because you don't understand that she's just shy, you're going to think she doesn't like you at all based on how she's moving and how she's interacting with you, right? but she might be intimidated based on how you look, because she might think you look really good, and she might think that guys who look that good aren't going to be interested in her, even though she might be physically or sexually attracted to a guy that looks that way. But the thing is that if you don't understand the game, then you're not going to understand why this is happening, and you're going to misinterpret why certain things are going down. Do you see?
Right. Now that right there is an example of something that happens and something you would have to use Handsome Man's Game for, because the average guy, that's not happening to him, right? That's not happening to him. He's not having a situation or multiple situations where girls consistently feel like, oh, he's out of my league. So then they act shy and they pull away from him and they act like they don't like him, or they act cold towards him. So the average guy, when a woman is acting that way towards him, it's probably because she doesn't like him. It's not because she's so intimidated and thinks he's going to hurt her down the line, right? So the responses that they have to that same behavior from the woman have to be different. And the understanding about what is driving the behavior, right, is different. It's a different drive. So they're two different experiences, right? So again, this example that he used kind of like only proves the point that there is a difference between a handsome man's experience and therefore his game, and an average man's experience and therefore his game.
You know what I'm saying? Also, a lot of times guys confuse physical attraction for sexual attraction. We're gonna get into all of this stuff today, so you guys know.
That is true. That's not necessarily the same thing. Physical attraction can lead to sexual attraction, but it's not the exact same thing. Physical attraction will aid in sexual attraction, right? But you can be physically attractive, like perfect to the girl, and still not be sexually attractive if your behavior is not right.
Understand what's going on. Now, what I want to say is this, right? Remember, guys, looks are subjective. So some women are going to think you're handsome. Some women are going to think you're not handsome, right? Now, you can have your own opinion on whether or not you think you're handsome. So you could say I'm handsome, or you could think you're not handsome, right? Now, when it comes to this, it's not about something being a handsome man's game, right? It's about when you're interacting with women, do you understand how women perceive you when we talk about the topic of being handsome? I want you to follow what I'm saying here, because it's very, very important. Do you understand how women perceive you when it comes to if they see you as handsome or not? You understand what I'm saying? Because, and when I say how women perceive you, I'm saying in general, because remember, it's all subjective, and there's going to be some women who think you're good looking or whatever, and some women who think you're not, right? But what I'm saying is that in general, right, what's the perception that women will have of you, right? And so if you don't understand the perception that the women have of you, then you can't use you being handsome, right, as the thing to go on. Because how do you know that a large number of women perceive you as handsome? How do you know in general that women perceive you as handsome? So you can say you're handsome, which is cool, but how do women perceive you? Have you had the experience that women generally tell you in some form or fashion that you're handsome, right? And does it happen consistently? You see what I'm saying? So a lot of these guys, what happens is they'll be like,
so everything he said right there, absolutely true. Absolutely true. Like, if you can't just decide that you're handsome. And I always talk about this. That's why I say you can't rate somebody. Another man can't rate you. It's not about what, other guys say. It's not about how close you look to somebody else that's handsome. It's not about any of that. How do women react to you? How do women respond to you? What have been your own personal experiences in your life? If over the course of your life, right? And this is going to be less so maybe if you're a teenager, because maybe puberty is what saves you and then you become handsome, right? So if you're in your 20s, if you're like 25 or early 20s, like I'd say by like college, right? If you've gone through college, or if you're of graduating age, like 22, you should have had quite a few experiences that will lead you to believe that women find you handsome. You go to places and you'll be the handsome guy in the place. all the girls will kind of feel a certain way about you. You'll hear about girls liking you and having crushes on you, and you know, girls will come up and tell you that they like you, have crushes on you, especially if you're in college. Like, you'll have experiences if you're around alcohol. Girls are gonna be bolder. They're gonna come up and talk to you. They're gonna come up and try to dance with you. They're gonna, you know, it's gonna be clear that, okay, women find me handsome. Like, women think I'm pretty good looking, right? So there are some people who just decide, you know, okay, I'm having problems with girls. I must be too intimidating. But if there's no experiences that back up that women find you really attractive, then you're just jumping the gun. And you're trying to find, and you're doing what he said, and you're just putting yourself in this category to try to like separate yourself and solve for your problem, right? So he's right about that. Your experiences have to back up the fact that you're handsome for you to then be like, okay, this is why I'm doing poorly with women or well with women or whatever it is.
I'm a good looking dude, and so I gotta pay attention to this handsome man game. And maybe because I don't understand handsome man game, that's the reason why I've been having so much trouble attracting women. So let me go into YouTube and type in handsome man game and try to figure out what these guys are saying about handsome man game so that I can learn the handsome man game so I can get the girls too, right?
Wrong. I feel like most people who I've spoken to anyways, who come across my videos and come across handsome man's game in general, it's because in the same way I got into it and I stumbled upon it, was that you're getting called handsome. You're getting these experiences that girls are telling you handsome. People are telling you, oh, this girl said this about you. This happened. Girls are coming up and talking to you. Girls are coming up and dancing with you. But you don't know how to transition that attention that you get into results with women, right? That's how a lot of men stumble into handsome men's game. They don't just wake up one day and decide, oh, you know what, I'm handsome. It's probably because I'm too handsome. Because anybody who doesn't really know game isn't going to think that being more handsome is a problem. You have to have a certain level of experience and a certain level of knowledge to even know that that's a thing, right? So the only people who would stumble upon handsome man's game for the most part are people who are like, yo, what's the problem? I'm always getting called handsome, but yet I can't close. But yet I can't get this girl on a date. But yet whenever I make a move, she's resisting. Like, what is it about? It's because it's a confusing thing. Like, he's talking about it like it's just a random thing, but there's guys who are really like struggling because it's very confusing when your experience is telling you you're handsome, right? Part of your experience is telling you you're handsome. People are telling you you look good. Girls are reacting to you in a way that's like, you see the other guys are not getting that reaction. You see that they're not having these experiences, but yet when you actually try to make the move and you try to go and you try to do what you need to do, it doesn't translate, right? And you don't end up having so many girls that you don't know what to do with, even though you get the attention of so many girls that you wouldn't know what to do with, right? So people are not just coming on YouTube and just randomly typing this in. They're confused, so they're looking for answers. That's how people stumble across handsome men's game.
Because obviously, since I'm such a good-looking guy and I'm still having trouble, it's because I don't understand the handsome man game. You see what I'm saying? And this is how stupid this shit is. So what you have to understand is that you have to get out of the mindset of it being handsome man game. You understand? Because then what you're doing is that you're missing the point of understanding game, right? Because the thing is, the game is about you. So you have to understand yourself and understand the world around you and how you experience that world. So this is why I said, are you the guy who women perceive you as a handsome guy? Do you have women on dating apps typing in their fucking inbox talking about, hey, handsome? When you hook up with a girl the first night, does she tell you how sexy and hot she thinks you are? You understand what I'm saying? Is this happening on a consistent basis? See, a lot of guys, they go overboard with this. They think handsome man game is, well, I'm so handsome that, I'm going to walk outside and chicks are going to be, checking me out all day and women are going to run up to me and all this other shit, right? Now,
you see, And this is where the argument starts getting shaky, because right now he says a lot of guys go overboard with it, and they think that when they go outside, girls are just going to be running up to me and chasing me because I'm handsome, right? So he's alluding to the fact that that's not the truth. That's not what happens when you're handsome. That's what guys imagine is what happens when you're handsome. But while he's in the middle of this thought, he realizes that he can use this to his advantage. So then watch what he does.
What I want to say is that most guys, right, are not going to have women running up to them. Like any guy watching this right now under the sound of my voice, right? How many women have approached you today? How many? I'll wait, because you're so handsome. How many women, fuck that, I do even better. How many women have approached you this week since you're so handsome? You see what I'm saying? You're so handsome that, all of these women are just, you go to the coffee shop, you go get your dry cleaning done, you go to the gas station. How many women are approaching you and coming up to you and trying to get your number? I'll wait, because you're so handsome. Right? Now, let's go on another thing. Forget the girls approaching you, because I know they're not approaching you, right? So how many women are giving you, like, let's say, choosing signals, like actual choosing signals, meaning that she's looking at you with a lustful stare? How many women have done that today? I'll wait. How many women was I fucking you today? I will wait. All right. How many women this week? Forget today, this week. We'll give you some more time. How many women this week were giving you that lust? Not a chick who just looked at you and you caught eye contact for 2 seconds. I'm talking about a woman who is staring at you, checking you out, and she can't keep her eyes off you. How many has that happened this week? You understand? So if these things are not happening, as far as women checking you out heavy, or women checking you out so heavy that they're actually compelled to approach you and make something happen, what the fuck is this handsome man game shit? What are we talking about?
Okay, so you see, like I said, he started off saying guys go overboard with this, thinking that girls are going to chase them and, come up to them and, act like fans, basically. But then as he was trying to prove his point, he switched it and he tried to use that as the criteria for you being handsome, right? When he knows that even the most handsome guys, that's not happening all the time, every single day, right? We know that's not happening because earlier in the video, he brought up the fact that women can be intimidated by you when you're handsome, right? So the two things, although they can both exist, cancel each other out, right? So for him to use this as criteria for you being handsome, girls coming up to you and just being bold and checking you out and doing all this, but knowing that women are intimidated by guys that they find very attractive, right? By him using that criteria, it's very misleading. And it's strictly to prove the point that he's trying to make, right? Because he knows that that's not the reality. That happens very occasionally, even for the most handsome men. You're not going to go every way you go to the grocery store, to this place, to that place, and girls are just running up and chasing you, right? It can happen in all of those places, but it may not happen all the time, right? There are certain environments where it's more likely to happen. If you're on a night out, right? If you're on a night out, how often do you get approached? If you go out 10 times, how often are you going to get approached? If it's 0, no, you're not handsome. If it's 5, you know what I'm saying? A 50-50 chance you're going to get approached or not, you're probably a handsome guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then there's levels to handsomeness, right? Because he's saying, okay, if she's not staring at you so much that she's like, oh my God, ready to strip right there and just give it to you, then you're not handsome. That's also poor criteria, because one girl may see you that way and be like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to give it to him right now. But another girl might see you and be like, damn, he's cute, but or she might have a boyfriend, or she might, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many other variables to this that you just today or this week having girls come up to you and talking to you or staring you up and down, right? That's not a criteria. That's just not going to happen every single day. For some guys it might. If they dress nice, if they this, if they, you know what I'm saying, if they do other certain things in addition to just being handsome, right? That might happen to them more often. But that's not something that's just gonna happen every single day or even every week. If you spend all your time at home, it's not gonna happen to you today. So does that mean, or this week, does that mean you're not handsome because you just were home? So when you're home, you're not handsome. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's way more variables to it. Now, there's a point, there's some truth in what he's saying, right? So he's not just completely wrong, right? If this has never happened to you, if this is something that in the past 6 months, past year has never happened to you, and you've been out and you've been around women and you know what I'm saying, you've been engaging, you go out a lot, whatever it is, the last year, last 2 years, 3 years, it hasn't happened, okay. Then he got a point. You probably shouldn't be following Handsome Man's Game because you're not having the situations that require you to use Handsome Man's Game. So in that scenario, in that time frame, in a larger time frame, what he's saying is true, but to condense it down to a day or a week, everybody's lifestyle is different. Everybody's doing different things at different times. You could come across the women who are just more shy. And so now they avoid you. Right? They're doing the opposite of what he's saying, but they're avoiding you because they find you attractive. So his criteria for you being considered handsome is very misleading.
What is the difference that you have to do versus the other guy? So if the women aren't approaching you, that means you got to approach them. So if you got to approach them, what's the difference between you and the guy who's not handsome?
Okay, let's answer that. So what's the difference, right? What's the difference between, if you both got to approach a girl, right? What's the difference? On the surface, very, very surface level, that makes sense. What's the difference? But if you peel back even a layer, you'll see that argument crumbles, right? I'll give you an example. I'll flip it to women, right? If you see a girl who's one of the baddest girls you've ever seen, right? She looks so good. Her body's crazy. Her face is beautiful. Her hair's on point. Skin flawless. No makeup, right? She got whatever features it is that you really, really like. You really love in a woman. She's your perfect woman, right? And then you see a girl who looks cute, right? You're like, wow, she's cute. She's cute. Like I would talk to her. She's cute. And you approach both of them. Does that make them the same? Does that make them the same? Does that mean that this girl who's cute can act the same way as this girl who's the baddest girl you've ever seen, the most beautiful girl you've ever seen? Can they act the same? Are you going to respond to them the same? Are you going to have the same interaction with them? Maybe some guys will. Maybe. And a lot of guys will say they will, but in reality, they wouldn't, right? The reality is your interest level is far different for this girl than it is for this girl. And that's the difference. The attention that this girl is going to take from you is going to be way more than the attention that this girl will take from you, from beginning to the end of the interaction, from the beginning to the end. Everything you do with this girl is going to be different than the things you do with this girl, strictly because she looks far, far better. You have far more interest in her. So just because you approach them both doesn't make them equals. It doesn't make them the same. It doesn't mean that anything in the interactions are going to be the same. It's just the female role to typically be approached, right? That's just how females operate. So they're the same sex, so their role is the same in the courting process or in the interaction, but that doesn't make them the same. So just because two men may approach a girl doesn't mean that the interaction is going to be the same. Her interest level is not going to be the same in the guy she finds really, really attractive versus the guy she's like, oh, he's kind of cute. The interest level is not going to be the same, right? Off rip. So like I said, the same way that it would work for you with the beautiful and the cute girl, the difference, it's going to be the same thing for the guy she thinks is really, really attractive and the guy she thinks is kind of cute. The fact that you just both approached doesn't equalize you. It doesn't equalize you. It doesn't equalize your experience, and it doesn't equalize her response to you. So that's how they're different. That's the difference between when you, as a really, really attractive guy, approach a girl or attractive guy, whatever, versus an average guy who, and I use an example of a guy who she thinks is cute. Now, a guy who she thinks is average, the interest is that much farther apart, or her interest level. So the experience is going to be that much different.
right? They're not approaching you. The girls are checking you out, right? But guess what? You still have to go and approach them. So what's the difference between you having to approach them and the other guys having to approach them? What's the difference? Why? Because she looked at you? What's the difference? So what, her looking at you means that it's easier for you to get her? Really interesting. Because when you're talking to a woman and you're interacting with a woman, right, she still has to feel you out and see what's going on in the situation to see if she's really interested. Because she might think you're handsome from across the room. That doesn't mean she's sexually attracted to you. You understand what I'm saying?
That part is true. What he's saying, this part right here is true. Like, once, it doesn't matter how attractive she thinks you are, she still has to feel you out to make sure it's safe, to make sure it's this, you know, to test some things out. The difference is the things she's testing out, right? The things she's trying to see from the guy she thinks is really attractive is not, okay, why should I talk to him? It's like, okay, why shouldn't I talk to him? Is he doing this? Is he gonna hurt me? Is he really interested in me? Is he just playing me? Does he have a whole bunch of girls? Right? Is he a womanizer? Is he lying to me right now? These are the things that she's thinking when she's dealing with the guy she thinks is really attractive. Basically, is he a player? Now, when the guy whose average comes up, she's not thinking, oh, is he a player? She's not trying to see those different things. She's not trying to test those things out. She's like, why would I talk to you? Why would I be interested in you? What reason do I have to give you my time? Go ahead, show me. Right? So that even though he's right, they have to suss you out and see what else is there. The things they're looking for are different. She's looking for reasons to disqualify you versus for him, she's looking for reasons to qualify him. She's looking for reasons of why would I talk to this guy who I'm not attracted to? What else is it? Is he funny? Is he rich? Is he really charismatic? Is he a leader? Is he gonna teach me something? Like, what else is it? It's not that physical draw. The physical draw, as long as you don't mess it up, if you do have that physical draw, as long as you don't mess it up, it's going to transition into sexual. As long as you're not weird, you're not like creepy or like super boring or like, maybe it's going to be different triggers for different girls, different turnoffs for different girls. But as long as you're not her turnoff, it's going to lead into sex. Whereas with the average guy, he can't just be, he's not maintaining interest. He's trying to build interest with this girl. So that's the difference. When even though she also has to suss you out, the difference is the things that she's trying to suss out.
So what's the difference? I want to know, and guys, you can call up and let me, maybe I don't know something. Maybe I'm missing something. I want to know what's the difference between handsome man game and just game. I want to know what's the difference. Like, what is the difference when you're handsome versus you're not handsome? What do you need to do differently?
I'll add to it since he keeps asking the question. Another difference is the scope, right? This is a big one, the scope. So I talked about basically the interest level is different, right? That's what I've been explaining so far. But another one is the scope. So what do I mean by scope? If let's say two guys enter a workout class, right? The average guy enters a workout class and the attractive guy the handsome guy enters a workout class, right? And it's for this guy, he just enters a class and it's him and then there's like 5 girls, right? There's 5 girls in the class. And it's just those 6. And then this guy enters the class and there's 5 girls in his class and it's just those 6, right? So it's him and 5 girls and him and 5 girls. Now, when this average guy enters the workout class, he might have one of the girls be interested in him, right? So that means the other 4 don't care about what he does. He can't mess it up with them. They have no interest in him initially. He might have 1. He might have 0. More than likely, he'll have 0. And then as he's in the class, one of them might take a liking to him. But when he first shows up, they're gonna be like, whatever. But I'll give him 1. I'll give him 1 girl that's interested in him. So when he enters the class and he's around the girls, he's trying to see, okay, which one of these girls likes me. And once he figures out that it's that girl, it's him and that girl because the other girls don't care. They don't care about what he does. Right, so he can go full force for the girl that he wants, and they can do their thing, and he can have complete focus on her. When you're a handsome guy, right, the handsome guy, now he gets into the class, 4 out of the 5 girls like him. There's one girl that doesn't like him. There's always one girl, right? But four out of the 5 girls, they are on him, right? Now they're on him at different degrees, right? So maybe girl number 1 is like head over heels as soon as she sees him. Girl over 2 feels the same way, but girl over 3, she's like, yeah, he's kind of cute, but you know, let's see what he's talking about. Let's see who he is. Let's really see. And then the 4th girl might be like, I mean, if he did the right things, I would definitely talk to him if he did the right things, right? So 2 of them are super interested, one's curious, and one's like open to it, right? Now, what that means is he has more to worry about. There's more going on in his world. There's more possibility that he could lose the interest of girls that are already interested in him. Because if he goes super hard for one, now the other girls are going to get jealous. Now they're going to, you know what I'm saying? They might get catty with each other. They might have a issue. They're going to start giving him the cold shoulder. They care, right? So there's more of a nuance to the game when it comes to Handsome Man's game. In this situation, for example, he has to have more nuance because he has to decide, he has to gauge, right? They all like me, right? First things first, which one do I like the most? Okay. Now, which one likes me the most? Okay. Do those match? They don't match. I actually like girl number 3 the most, but she's curious about me. Girl number 1 and 2 are gonna give it up easy to me, and girl number 4 will be a little bit of a challenge, but she's down. She's open to it. Right. So now he has to know how to play the situation because he has something to lose. The average man rarely has anything to lose. He can go for broke. The handsome man often has other girls' interests that he can lose if he goes for a specific girl. So he has to decide who he wants to be with. That's just one example, one specific example of how Handsome Man's game is different. And the thing is, like, if you haven't experienced that, you wouldn't know that. If that has not been your reality, if you don't go to places and multiple girls like you, and then you end up going for one, and then another girl gets jealous, or you know, you like, I really should have went for this one. This one was giving me love, right? If that hasn't happened to you, you wouldn't even think to, like, this is why he's asking the question. Like, he's not thinking about that. I don't know if he's doing it because he's just trying to make a point. So he's acting like he's not aware of the situation, or if he just hasn't had the experience, so he wouldn't know, right? But a lot of guys have not had that experience, so you wouldn't even think about that. That wouldn't cross your mind. This is why there has to be a separate type of game, because there's different types of experiences. It's a different world when you show up and then like all the girls are all over you immediately. You didn't have to really build any interest. You didn't really have to like do a lot. But now you're like, okay, I don't really know them, so I don't know who to choose. So you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just different situations that a handsome guy, consistently a handsome guy, right? He's handsome in multiple arenas, you know what I'm saying? A guy might be handsome around this type of woman or with this situation, but if you go around and like girls typically think you're handsome, different races, different social classes, different, you know what I'm saying? And there's more to it because you're dealing with way more women. You can't just go for broke like that. So that's, like I said, another difference between average man's game and handsome man's game. It's the scope. So it's the interest level, it's the scope, and it's the attention that you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? Like in that situation, the girls are paying attention to what is he doing? Oh, he's talking to her today? Whatever, I don't wanna talk to him. Oh, he's talking to me today? Okay, but he was talking to her yesterday. Is he just a flirt? Is he just a player? Is he just, you know what I'm saying? Like they're wondering these things, whereas when the average guy talks to the girls who don't like him, they're like, oh, he's so sweet, he's so nice. Wow, he's just really social. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's 2 different reactions that you're gonna get. 2 different reactions between the average guy and the handsome guy. And that's the difference.
You understand? What are the different things that need to happen? Because see, it's not really anything that needs to be different. It's more so, like I said earlier, if you understand how women perceive you, then you know how to move better in situations to make things happen.
So he basically just said, there's no difference, right? So it's not about a handsome man's game. It's about knowing how your situation is so that you know how to move better, right? Another word for better in that sentence could be different, so that you know how to move differently to get better results, right? That's the full sentence. He used the word better instead of different, but really it's how do you move differently in order to get better results? Because what's objectively a better move, right? It's just like, it's a different move because the situation calls for a different thing for you to reach the result. And that is the difference. That is the difference between average man's game and handsome man's game. You have to do different things. If this consistently happens to you, and this is most likely your situation, then you're gonna do things more often this way. And if this guy's experience is like this more often, then he's gonna often do things this way, which are two different ways of doing things. Average man's game and handsome man's game.
You also understand why certain things are happening. Right? And so what I mean by, how women perceive you, think about, are women consistently telling you you're handsome? Has more than 10 women in your entire life said that you was handsome? Take away your mom. I'm not talking about your mom. I'm not talking about the prostitute in Brazil that was trying to get your money. I'm not talking about her. She told you was handsome because she was trying to get that paper. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about women who genuinely are physically attracted to you, and in some cases sexually attracted to you. How many times has that happened in your life where women have told you you were handsome? So if it happened less than, let's say, 10 times in your entire life, right? That means that generally women don't really perceive you as handsome, because if women perceive you as handsome, that means that women have been telling you are handsome on a consistent basis. You've had it happen a number of times so that you understand that's how women will generally perceive you. You see what I'm saying? So that
right. 1,000. I couldn't agree with a person more. That was a bar. That was a beautiful statement, right? Because that's absolutely true. I don't know where he got the number 10 from. That's a random number. Depending on your age, that could even be a bit low of a number. But yeah, you should be getting told that you're handsome. Like I said earlier in the video, you can't just make it up. It has to be your experiences. And if you are of a reasonable age, like if you're 15, 16, it might not happen because little girls are, they might call you ugly if they think you're, you know what I'm saying? Like little girls play games, right? But once you're past like 21, 22, you should have had situations where women are telling you you're handsome. You've been on a dating app, women would have told you, oh, wow, you're fine. Or whatever it is. Like you'll get stuff like that if you're handsome. And it would have happened more than 10 times. Depending on the exposure, you know what I'm saying, of the girls you get, but like he said, 10 is the like bare minimum, I would say, right? Like 10, like he said, like if you had less than 10 girls in your life call you handsome, you're probably not handsome. You can explain away 5 or 6 of those, like it was situational. She felt the pressure to say this, she this, you know what I'm saying? There's probably an explanation for it, but like more than 10. I'd say more than 15, depending on your age, more than 20, depending on your age, like 10 times a year, like depending on how often you go out, how often you're around women, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he's absolutely right. You have to have had that. That's a key part of you looking and using handsome man's game, is that you've had experiences that require handsome man's game, because being called handsome by a girl, it would require you to then use handsome man's game. Because you're not doing the same thing that the average guy is doing, which is I'm trying to get her to show her interest in me. I'm trying to get her to, be interested in me. Like actually, if she comes up to you and tells you, oh, wow, you're so handsome. From there, that's a completely, like there's so much of average man's game that is designed to get to that point, right? And once you get to that point, you've created some type of connection. She feels another certain way about you. She's looking beyond the looks, right? She's looking at, oh, he has this quality, he has this. But when you just start there and there's no connection there, it just starts at that point where she's already interested. Now you have other work to do. And that's where handsome man's game comes in. You haven't worked to get to that point, which is the average man's game. And then the point, like I said, the point that he's at, he already has a certain connection because he's done something to build the interest. So there's already a comfort level there now. By the time she's telling him, there's a comfort level there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just different. She might be fully interested in you, but uncomfortable being around you. That's not gonna happen with an average man. There's no average man who a girl is uncomfortable with, but interested in. Because he had to build the interest. And in building the interest, she's going to be comfortable with him. And she's probably not uncomfortable with him from the beginning because he's not intimidating looks-wise. So it's just different scenarios, it's different situations. It's different. I promise you, it is a different thing.
That's the first thing you got to understand. Do women perceive me as handsome? You understand? I don't care what the fuck these niggas on YouTube say, where you sending in your pictures to these guys trying to give you looks maxing advice and rating your face and shit. I don't care how many males on YouTube rate your face. I don't give a fuck. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care how many ratings you send to these niggas. Do women perceive you as handsome? You understand what I'm saying? When's the last time a woman said you was fine?
Facts. What he's saying right here is facts. Facts. I could not agree more. Like I said, like this little portion of the video, he's going off. He's giving that game, right? What do the women say? It don't matter if you send in a rating and one of these YouTube guys tells you you're a 8.7, man. Go out there and start. You know, like your life didn't change from the time that he told you you were 8.7, like from before to after that. Your life didn't change. Nothing changed. You were the same person. If your experiences were not good, after he tells you you're 8.7, your experiences are still not going to be good. It's a waste of time. It's a waste. It don't matter what your friends, your male friends say. It don't matter about none of that. What do women show interest in you, sexual interest in you? Even your female friends, it doesn't really matter what they say because they might just be nice. They might just be being nice. They might tell you you are so handsome, but they don't want to sleep with you. They're not trying to kiss you. They're not trying to touch up on you. You ask them out. They're like, no, but there's somebody out there for you. You're so handsome. You're not handsome. That's not how it goes. If you, this is why I say the friend zone with the handsome man is not really the friend zone. It's just if there's a friend zone, you're putting her in the friend zone. You're not trying to be with her, because if you're handsome and y'all really cool, like you're not gonna be attractive physically, connect, and nothing happens unless you decide, I'm not gonna do anything. She might not jump and make the move, but she gonna make it clear that like she gonna put y'all in a situation. You're gonna be at her house late at night. It's just y'all. Things are gonna, you know what I'm saying? She gonna put you in situations where if you wanted to, you could do something. And she'll give you hints, and she'll talk about her, like, you know, she'll talk about herself in a sexual way. She'll do things that let you know like she's down. But it's up to you whether you want to make the move or not, and that's how you friend zone a girl, right? But that's only gonna happen to the guy that's physically attractive. She's not gonna like you make the move and she's like, no, but you're great for somebody else. Like, that's not gonna happen, right? So your female friends, take what they say with a grain of salt. The like he said, the niggas don't even listen to what they're saying. Don't listen to what the niggas are saying because they don't know. They can't. You're not interested in them. So what their palate is looking for, that's not. You don't care about that. So what he's saying here is bars. This is bars. When's the last time she told you she was fine? When's the last time she told you was fine? Like what? You know what I'm saying? He's a funny dude. This is entertaining.
When's the last time a woman said you was gorgeous? And I'm talking about like women you just met, women you just slept with for the first time, women you just matched with on a dating app. How many times have they told you you was fine, you handsome, you're gorgeous? How many times?
If you ain't got no stories, it's not looking good, right? You ain't got no stories where a girl came up to you and was like, oh, you're gorgeous, or they did something sexual with you off the rip without you really trying. You know what I'm saying? Like if they wasn't calling you fine, if they're not like, ooh, like, you know what I'm saying, looking you up and down, scrunching their face up, if they're not doing any of that, every woman is not intimidated by you, right? So I'm standing with him on that. Every woman is not intimidated by you. If you don't have these experiences, you don't need to be worried about handsome man's game. But there are guys, I've spoken to them personally, who have these experiences, but they just don't know how to transition that into results with women. If you are that guy, you need to learn Handsome Man's Game. You absolutely do. All right, now this video is long. It's long as hell. It's like 2 hours long, so I'm not gonna do the whole thing. But I'm gonna skip to the part where he uses my video as an example and kind of go through what he's saying here.
And so I was like, let me bring up one of these videos and we'll critique it. Let me bring this up. So this is by a YouTuber named Marv Over Matter.
Mind Over Matter.
And again, this is, remember, when I do these are not to disparage any of these guys. This is not to make fun of any of these guys. This is to get you guys to understand the game, right? So this is for educational purposes, right? So he has this video, and the video is titled Handsome Men's Game, The Fundamentals. Now, so he's not the only guy that, does these types of videos. There's a lot of guys on YouTube who have a lot of these Handsome Man Game videos. You understand what I'm saying? Well, let's start this. We're going to go into this and we're going to see what he's saying, and we're going to break down all the things. So let's go.
When you're handsome, you're on an equal playing field with the woman, because she has something you want, she's attractive. You have something she wants, you're attractive. It's only when you're in the position.
Yo, K-Zag said, you don't have to make fun of him, I'll take care of that. And guys, we have two free calls. So if you guys want to call up, we got 2 free calls. So we're gonna get that. We're gonna get this shit cracking. Woo. Okay, let's continue. Here we go.
Where they don't find you attractive, that's when you have to do more to get them, because they have the position of power. But you can't approach the game like that if you're handsome. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Marv Over Matter, back with another video. And today what I'm going to talk about is Handsome Man's Game, the fundamentals. Handsome Man's Game, the fundamentals, man. So my second video is Handsome Man's Game, right? I hit all the points of what you need to do as a handsome man. I think there was like 4 points that I hit, where I just talk about like the fundamentals, the things that separate Handsome Man's Game from average man's game.
Again, there is no handsome man game. There's no average man game. There's no below average man game. There's no black man game, white man game, tall man game, short man game, bus driver game, doctor game, teacher game. Let's continue.
Because it's different. It's not the same thing. You can't do the same things. If you do the same things, you're not. He's saying, okay, so he's saying there's no difference, right? And he's using all these examples, but let's play along with it, right? There is a difference. If you're a bus driver and you're a professor in college, your game is going to be different, because you're in a different situation. As a bus driver, you can give a girl a free fare, right? You can talk to her every day because you're going to see her on her route to work, right? So you'll have a different relationship. You'll have a different type of situation. As a professor, you're not supposed to be doing this, but you can, have her be your assistant, or you can have her, do extra credit, or you can, alter her grades, go easy on her, like whatever it is, help her with her studying. Like you have a different scenario and a different situation. So the game is different. Now, these are very specific situations, so it's not worth calling it bus driver game or teacher game. But with Handsome Man's Game and Average Man's Game, it's a consistent situation amongst a lot of different people. There's a lot of different guys in different jobs, in different places, in different times, right? That have similar experiences. So it's warrants another name, because it's unique but not so specific, right? So these guys are gonna have, on a consistent basis across a bunch of different people, gonna have a similar experience, and an enormous amount of people, right? A way larger amount of people are gonna have this other experience. And that's why it's just game. That's just game because it's way more general. So it's just the average person. Nobody calls it average man's game, right? It's just game because it's average. So most people are experiencing it. So it doesn't need a name. But something that's niche, like girls coming up to you, something that doesn't happen to everybody, there has to be a way to separate it. So it's handsome man's game.
Not gonna get the results, and you're gonna be wondering like, why, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it that I can't, it's working for this guy? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's not gonna be getting the girls maybe that you want, but he's getting the girls that he wants. You know what I'm saying? Why can't you get the girls that you want? What's going on? It's because there's a different game for handsome guys. It's different criteria.
There's not a different game for handsome guys. It's not. You understand what I'm saying? It's not. But let's continue. Let's continue.
It's just it's a different landscape. So one of the main things that you need to know as a handsome guy, if you're dating women and you're going after, and not going after, if you want women, is that you're already in a position of power. You already have something that she wants.
Okay, you're gonna hear this button a lot. So what he's essentially saying is you're in a position of power because she thinks you're handsome. So because she thinks you're handsome, you have something she wants. You understand what I'm saying? Now, see, the thing that a lot of these guys don't understand, right, is that when it comes to this, when women thinking you're handsome, right, they're physically attracted to you. It is not hard for a woman to get access to a physically attractive man. You understand? Women have physically attractive men in their DMs all the time. You understand what I'm saying? You being a handsome dude, there's nothing special about that for women. You understand what I'm saying? Like nothing. Now, would she rather be with a guy who she is sexually attracted to because she's physically attracted to him versus somebody else that she's not sexually attracted to because she's not physically attracted to him? Of course. Would she rather be with a guy or talk to a guy who she's physically attracted to, right? Versus talking to a guy who she's not physically attracted to and he has no game? Of course. Right? But what you guys got to understand is that a woman interacting with a guy who she would consider handsome is nothing special, right? Because she has access. It's like, okay, it's like this. Think about this, right? If I'm, you know, if you're looking for a house to buy, to purchase, and I'm a realtor and I take you around and I show you 8 different houses, right?
All right. The analogy doesn't really matter. So he basically said, okay, being handsome is not special, but would a woman rather be with somebody handsome? Yes, right? That's essentially what that whole little rant was. Where it was a contradiction. He said being handsome is not special, but she would rather be with somebody that's handsome. Okay. Now, I'll give him some fairness. He said she has access to a lot of different handsome men. So maybe he's saying you have to compete with more handsome men. Maybe that's what he's saying. But still, all those handsome men will be separated from the mass majority of men who are not considered handsome by that woman. So that's a difference. Now, I'm going to disprove what he said about it not being special because earlier in the video, he himself said a woman may be intimidated by you because you're handsome. So if being around and having, you know, interactions with a handsome man and talking to handsome men is means nothing to women. It's like, whatever, like I do this every day. He's completely disregarding the women who are intimidated by you because you're handsome, right? If they're intimidated by you, that means there's some sort of reverence, maybe is the word reverence. There's a reaction, there's a response that she's having to you specifically because she thinks you're handsome, you're so attractive, right? So in that, there's an interest, there's attention, there's an awareness of you that she doesn't have of all these other guys who are in this scenario. Now, it may be you in this scenario and another handsome guy in a different scenario, but you're only worried about your scenario. You're not worried about the other scenario, right? You're worried about the situation that you guys are in. So in your situation, you have power, like I said, because if she would be intimidated by you, that means she has extreme interest and she's uncomfortable. And she's uncomfortable because she feels like maybe you're better than her, maybe, you know, whatever the reason is, but that's a sense of power. There's a power dynamic there, right? There's a power imbalance there, because if she didn't feel that, she wouldn't be intimidated. Now, are there girls who are not intimidated? Yeah, for sure. That's true too, right? So he's telling the truth, but he's using it as it fits his point, right? He ignores one truth and brings up another truth to prove this point, and then he ignores this truth and brings up this truth to prove this point. You get what I'm saying? When it's a spectrum, it's gray. It's like some girls are really extremely intimidated, some girls are kind of nervous, some girls are they're cool, some girls are like I don't even whatever, this means nothing to me, right? It's degrees to it, it's levels to it. It's gray, it's not black and white. And he's trying to make it seem as though it's black and white. So when I say you have power over girls, right? Some girls, he's saying, nah, they ain't worried about it. They're talking to him all the time. Yeah, that's a group of girls, but there's other groups of girls who don't talk to those guys all the time, who will feel intimidated, and you will have a sense of power over, and they will be interested. So 3 different girls could see a handsome guy and think 3 different things. One could think, oh my gosh, he's so out of my league, I'm not talking to him. Another could think, oh man, he's so fine, I'm about to go talk to him. Another one could think, he's fine, but he got to come talk to me. 3 different reactions, right? They all feel the same way about you, but they respond differently. They respond differently. And the bottom line is they respond. They have a reaction. That's the power right there. The fact that they have a reaction to you. Because when they see an average guy, there's no reaction. There's no response. There's no pulse. It's just clear. Right? They don't care when they see an average guy. He has to do something in order for them to care. But when they see a guy they find physically attractive, beep, beep, there's life. There's a response. There's a reaction. That's the power right there. That's the difference. That's the difference. And when she sees you, the handsome guy, when you come up to her, whether you come up to her or she comes up to you, that's the difference. She's not going up to the average guy, but when he comes up to her, it's clear until he does something to bring light. He gotta, you know what I'm saying? Whatever that shit is called, he got to do that to get life, right? So this is he's telling the truth sort of, but it's manipulated in a way to prove his points as he's going along, and each point is contradicting the last.
And all 8 of those houses look beautiful from the outside. We're standing on the lawn.
All right, I'm done with this video. This is going on too long, but yeah, as you can see, there's a clear difference between Handsome Man's Game and Game, right? It's very niche. It's very specific. Only, like he said, only a few guys are going to experience these things. And when I say a few guys, I want to be, let's be real, right? There's 4 billion guys on Earth. So 1% of that is 40 million guys. So there's 40 million guys in the top 1%. 40 million guys. So that's a lot of men. That's a lot of men who are having this experience, right? So we act like it's rare. We act like it's so like this couldn't happen. Like the way he's telling is like, this is probably not happening to you. Like that's part of his point is like, it's not happening to you. You're not really having these experiences. So don't worry about Handsome Man's Game. And he's right. I told you, I agree with that. But for the 40 million guys and plus, because it's not just going to be the top 1%, it's the top 2, top 3, top 4. Let's say top 4%. Right, that's 160 million guys on Earth having that experience. That's large enough for there to be a separate game. Handsome Man's Game. All right, fellas. So that's the video for today. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Drop some more topics in the comment section. Drop some videos you want me to react to in the comment section because I want to do more reactions. This is fun. And yeah, I got my coaching calls in the description box, Instagram in the description box. And y'all know what it is. It's Mind Over Matter, Marvel Over Matter. Let's get it.